How's it going, trainers? So with the 2023 Community Day season officially wrapped up, it's time to look ahead to 2024. So which Pokemon could we see get Calm Days next year? Well, today we'll be making 9 predictions for who we could see in 2024. So without further ado, let's get into it. Welcome back, everyone. So the 2023 Community Day season has officially come to an end. This past weekend we had the yearly wrap-up event, which featured every 2023 Calm Day Pokemon from January's Chespin to November's Mareep. Gotta say, it was fun revisiting this past year's Calm Day Pokemon, but now that the wrap-up is behind us, it's time to look ahead to 2024. Now usually there's 11 new Calm Day Pokemon events each year, however for this Calm Day video I'm only making 9 predictions. Why, you may ask? Well, crazy enough, Pokemon went ahead and revealed the first 2 Calm Days of 2024 on December 1st. Of course, they did pull the plug shortly after the article was posted, but it's only a matter of time until they get their actual announcement. So based on the post from a few weeks ago, we'll be having Rowlet Calm Day featuring Frenzy Plant on January 6th, then for February 4th, we'll have Chansey with a yet-to-be-revealed move. Now what's really crazy about this reveal is that these 2 Pokemon were part of a big leak back in November. I gotta admit, I really didn't believe it when I first saw it, and that's because a Chansey Calm Day seems pretty nuts. It's certainly gonna make gym attacking a major pain, and if Blissey gets a good move for PvP, it's gonna be an absolute nightmare to deal with. But anyways, getting back to our predictions, we picked 9 Pokemon that we think could fit the 2024 bill for a variety of reasons. So starting off, since we already know that Rowlet will be getting a Calm Day in 2024, our first 2 predictions are going to be for the other Alolan starters, Litten and Poplio. This seems like an obvious choice, as it would make sense to keep the whole starter trio within the same year. Also, when it comes to the moves these Pokemon could get, I'd say it's pretty likely that they'll receive the usual starter moves of Blast Burn and Hydro Cannon. But along with these usual Calm Day moves, I feel we'll also see the addition of their signature moves being Darkest Lariat and Sparkling Aria. In the past, we've seen Pokemon like Delphox and Greninja receive their signature moves as additional moves, so I'd say it's a pretty safe bet that Litten and Poplio will get the same treatment. Though anything's possible with Niantic, so we'll have to wait and see what happens. But after the Alolan starter Calm Days, I'm going to be making another obvious prediction for June. It's safe to say that this month is slated for a pseudo-legendary dragon, so for the first Calm Day of the summer, I'm going to say it's pretty much guaranteed that we see Goomy. Why am I so certain of this? Well, the past 3 years have slated Gible, Dino, and Axew for the summer month, and these dragons have followed a pattern being available during the Go Fest the previous summer. And with Goomy being featured during last summer's Go Fest, I'm certain this will be the Pokemon that will be the June 2024 day. Now in terms of its featured attack, that's going to be a bit of a trickier guess. See, Goomy is the first pseudo we've seen that isn't an offensive attacker, rather it's more bulky and built for PvP. So with that in mind, I think adding Weather Ball Water would be a great addition to its arsenal. This move would give it a weak but strong water type coverage move when compared to the weaker Muddy Water. But regardless of what move it is, I'm eager to see Goomy for next June. So now that we've gone through some of the more obvious predictions on our list, let's get to some more obscure ones. For example, I think we'll see Wimpod at some point in 2024, as this Gen 7 Pokemon is unique for several reasons. For one thing, it's a 400 Candy evolution, which we've seen with past Calm Days like Swablu and Noibat. Also, since this Pokemon isn't as common as others we've seen, this would be the perfect way to help trainers evolve it. But additionally, Wimpod's evolution Golisopod has a signature move in the main series, so what better time to add first impression to the game than with a Wimpod Community Day? Now for some Community Day events we've had dual Pokemon that feature 2 regional variants. For example, we've had Calm Days for Kanto and Alolan Sandshrew, Kanto and Galarian Slowpoke, and Johto and Paldean Wooper. So if we were to receive another dual Calm Day in 2024, I think a perfect candidate would be Yamask with both its forms. These ghost types have been around in Go for a while, so I think a Community Day event would make them more relevant. Plus their shinies have also been available for a few years, so having a Calm Day to make them more widely available would also be really nice. And since both of these are ghost types, they would make the perfect addition for a spooky October Calm Day. Now in terms of exclusive moves, Cofagrigus and Runerigus are already great in PvP. However, for their exclusive move, I think a brand new attack like Body Press could make these 2 top tier, providing them with fighting type coverage for both dark and normal types. And speaking of normal types, we've got a normal type Calm Day prediction that may seem a bit underwhelming, and that's Pikipek. Just bear with me though, as I think this could be a really fun Calm Day if it's done right. Like if Pick-a-Peck were to get a brand new shiny release, I think that would add a lot of excitement to this event. I mean, have you seen Toucannon shiny? It's actually pretty nice. Now unfortunately, this Pokemon isn't the best for PvP, however that means they could give it a pretty overpowered new move to balance it out. Toucannon also has a signature move in the main series, so perhaps they could introduce Beak Blast as a low energy move that decreases the opponent's attack. I think such a move could be enough to make Toucannon a respectable choice in PvP. Now getting into our 7th Comm Day prediction, we have the Gen 5 Electric type Tynamo. As it currently stands, Tynamo is a bit forgettable in Go, and the same can be said for its final evolution, Electros. Don't get me wrong, I really like this Pokemon's design, but in Go, Tynamo is fairly uncommon, doesn't have its shiny, and Electros has no real use in PvP or raids. So how could Niantic fix this Pokemon? Well, I think debuting Tynamo's shiny during a Comm Day would be a nice start. And for moves, I would give Electros 2 moves, being Volt Switch and Wild Charge. This would give it more utility in battle, seeing that these two are some of the better electric moves for PvP. It could then use these alongside a bait move like Dragon Claw to see reasonable success. Nothing top tier by any means, but I think it would be just the boost that Tynamo needs right now. Now for our penultimate pick, we have our first Kanto Pokemon, and while it may not seem like the most exciting Comm Day prediction, it's one that I've been eagerly awaiting for years now. And that Pokemon is Bellsprout. Now this prediction mainly comes because of Victory Bell's PvP relevance. It's always been the Shadow Razor Leafer for the Great League, and while I like it for that role, I think giving it a new fast move could breathe some variety into its playstyle. Specifically, I would give it Poison Jab. We really don't have many grass-type Poison Jabbers, as Roserade is the only significant one we've seen. Now a Shadow Victory Bell with Poison Jab would have a similar fast move pressure to Razor Leaf, but the added energy would allow it to use its charge moves much more effectively. So while this may seem like a personal pick that some really don't care for, I think a Bellsprout Community Day could add a lot to this Pokemon. So at this point in the video, we're 8 predictions down, and that means we've just got one more to go. But before we get into our final Comm Day prediction, I did want to run through a few ideas for Comm Day Classics that we could potentially see next year. During this past year, we saw Larvitar, Swinub, Squirtle, Charmander, and Mareep, plus we know that Porygon will be January's Classic event. But for 3 more predictions for 2024, we're guessing Ralts, Bagon, and Eevee. Eevee may seem like a little much since it's already had 2 Comm Day events, but remember, so did Charmander. As for Ralts and Bagon, these 2 fan favorites had their Comm Days back in 2019, so what better time than their 5th anniversary to give them classics? Alright, it's time to get to our 9th Pokemon. So for our final 2024 prediction, we're predicting a Comm Day for the Sharp Blade Pokemon, Pawniard. So why Pawniard? Well, last year we predicted Mankey Comm Day with an Annihilate debut, which of course didn't come. I still think that Comm Day is equally likely to happen next year, but to make a different prediction, I think Pawniard is also very possible. Like Mankey Day, this event would of course debut Bisharp's Gen 9 evolution, King Gambit. And as for moves, King Gambit could receive an array of moves, but I think the one that makes the most sense for this event would be its signature move, Kotao Cleave. This powerful dark move could be moderate in Go, perhaps similar to Drill Run or Fly around 45 energy. If that ends up being the case, I think with this move and the right overall moveset, King Gambit could be an exciting addition to the Open and Premier Master Leagues. But even if it gets a less than stellar moveset, King Gambit is just a really cool Pokemon with a great shiny, which I think warrants our final prediction. But now I'm going to be turning it over to you. What did you think of our predictions? Do you agree with our choices, or do you think we'll see other Comm Day candidates next year? Either way, be sure to let us know what you think down in the comments. And if you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe so you don't miss our analyses for whatever Comm Day Pokemon we end up getting. But until next time, thank you all so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.